Indomitable warrior, you cannot be defeated. Adonai, we glorify your name. Indomitable warrior, you cannot be defeated. Adonai, we glorify your name. The scripture from the book of Psalms, chapter 15, verse 1. A soft word will soften anger, but the opposite of it will create havoc. Verse 2. A person with knowledge will be embraced by many, but a foolish one, multitude will run from that person. Okay, I'm from Kenya. Kenya is in East Africa. It's about 1:45 p.m. It's all depend on GMT time. I know multitude are watching my video, and I thank God because He has enabled you and I to have that power, strength, even passion to engage in whatever we've been doing. We don't take anything for granted. All in all, we have our God who has good plans for us. Doesn't matter what we are passing through. All what matters is that God has good plans for you and I, and we are prevailing in all. Equilibrium of it all is that we are to gain that power, knowledge and wisdom, and the end up game is that victory is our identity. Our heritage, even our destiny and dignity is well taken care of. I would prefer that you and I to visualize on three types or category of people. Okay, we happen to have a ritualistic, and by the power that God has assigned unto me, I'll try to visualize to who those people are. We have the ritualistic, we have the wizard, and then we have the witch. Okay, as per the ritualistic and the witch, they are similar, and the wizard happen to have the middleman person who will always assist these two type of evil people to acquire or to engage in whatever they have planned to. I think I'm well understood on that. A wizard is a middleman who works for the ritualistic and the witch. And we all know that this category of people, they are engaged in performing evil and wicked towards humanity. Okay, let's start with a ritualistic. A ritualistic is a person who have evil desire to enrich or to gain more wealth through evil means. And such a person is selfish, has hatred, is a liar, is corruptible, embraces bribery, and at the end up game upon that person is to destroy whoever they wish. But we thank God because we are overprotected. Let's go to the witch. The witch is a person who in most cases perform what he has to well hidden. It is very hard to identify a witch because they have that power, or even they have that knowledge of hiding themselves. They pretend to be good people when they are not. And mind you, a witch can be your relative or even your friend. Yeah, and they know on how to play that card so well to a point that they can't be identified. And as I have indicated, a wizard is a middleman who assists these two type of people to perform their evil duties. Okay, I happen to have to come from Kenya, and as per where we are, my country is in turmoil and turbulences because of bad governance. The people we voted in, the men and women who we always vote in after each and every 4 years, they've turned against us because we knew them as people with humility, people with clean hands, or people who are ready to serve us. But as where we are, they camouflage themselves into something that is, we can't just identify who they are, because their identity is corruption. They don't know the meaning of being, or they don't know the meaning of applying accountability. They hate transparency, and above all, they are greedy. Yeah, those are the type of people we choose. They have no different from the likes that I've just mentioned. The ritualistic, the witch, and the wizard. They're just there. It is unfortunate because you and I, we can't identify each other. We don't have that knowledge. It's only being done by a God. God is the only one who is able to probe and identify who humanity are. But for you and I, we can't. It isn't our duty, and it is next to impossible. We can't just do it. But we thank God because one will always identify who they are by their utterances or by their deeds that they engaged in. So it's unfortunate because in case of a ritualistic, there are people who are in a hurry to enrich themselves. They desire to live an opulent life, to own mansion, to have cars, and their bank account to overflow to a point of even cashing their money in offshore account abroad. They are craving for that, and they don't care the means they will use in order for them to reach their destination. It isn't a rumor, because I know it is truth, that of late, though it started in those past eras, humanity has engaged in a situation where they are harvesting human organs, the heart, the liver, even eyes, and they go to a point of even siphoning human beings' blood, and they sell it to abroad or even locally. This is all what is happening, and I can attest to that because a few months ago, my country, which I've mentioned that we are in turbulence and turmoil, there was a movement that was started by a certain generation identified as Generation Z plus Millennium and patriotic people, and we are in a hurry to change how ways are done in my country because there's no other option but to do so. Less people are drowned in poverty and reduce the life expectancy. This is how things are moving on. So the movement is acting as a revolution, and we thank God we are heading somewhere. So it isn't moving in speedy because the government in power, they have applied evil ways of abducting whoever they guess is in that movement or that revolution. They do abduct them. Not one person, many have been abducted, mostly the youth. And when they are being found, they have been consumed, they have been destroyed. This is how things are moving on in my country. Others have been imprisoned and no charges have been raised upon them. As we are here, if I happen to identify our leaders or associate them to being ritualistic and wizards, even witches, I won't be at an error because that is how they are acting. This is exactly how the category I'm mentioning do act, and our leaders are in a hurry. They just want to gather wealth, and as we are here, they started a way of forming their own clubs of billionaires, clubs of wealthy people. And as we are here, the big percentage of population is living under $1 per day. There are most households where you don't have foodstuffs, the children are no longer going to school, and mind you, some of the governmental institutions that are bound to uphold our dignity as citizens, they've been compromised. They've gone to a point of they are collapsing. They've already collapsed. The education, the agriculture, yeah, the health. It's becoming so messy. It's pathetic. And the equilibrium of it all is that the life expectancy, initially it was about 72 years, but as we are here, it has gone down. I don't want to mention, but I, for one, because I've lived here long, maybe the life expectancy is about now 42 or 43 years. That is where we are. Because when bad policies are being initiated by the rulers, it's a kind of a way. It's a genocide. And we know in genocide, multitude are consumed. That is the true picture of how my country, Kenya, is. We are not expecting redemption to come from anywhere, but only from our Creator. Because there are words circulating that even globalists have a hand at it. I don't want to mention the country, but the globalists. We are coming from being colonized. And it is unfortunate. It is weird because our colonizers returned or receded back to our country in form of NGOs or even investors. And they have altered all what we are passing through in my country, Kenya. No one is safe. The misogynistics of issues, of initiatives, or acts that are being forwarded to the common citizen of my country, Kenya, have made multitude to be hopeless. Because nothing seems to work. Majority of the Kenyan citizens, they engage in low business, informal initiatives. When I mean low business is that the type of business that you establish, you happen to have little or the mileage of the capital you have is just low. And you know the low the capital is, the low the business will take time to get where one expects to. It's becoming so complicated. But you happen to return back to the topic that I've just started with, or who the ritualistic is, or even a witch, or even a wizard. All what I know is that from centuries and eras, each and every ruler who had a hand of destroying his people, they first initiated a system of making the citizen poor. And this is where Kenyans are. We have many years where jobs haven't been created. And they are not in a hurry to engage in that. Because I was passing through a certain article from the online platform, and I realized that the rulers, the politicians, the leaders that we have, that is why I'm calling them ritualistic, because they're in a hurry to consume its citizen. The rulers that we have, they have a tendency of applying bureaucratic or red tapes to those investors, might be coming from within African continent or even from Western world. They have a tendency of applying bureaucratic and red tapes upon them. Let me visualize on that. Okay, if an investor happens to visit my country and has a desire to establish a factory or even an industry, they are forced to give a commission to the leader in order for them to win, to be able to be allowed to come and establish an industry. This has culminated to to about all the foreign investors to divert their passion of investing in my country, Kenya, to my neighboring countries. We have Uganda, we have Tanzania, and many other African countries. They prefer to go there because if you and I desire to start a business, you have already calculated on how you are to start and how all we go on. But you haven't just added a situation where you give a commission to anyone. And that is why our leaders are failing us. So it has been going on for a long time to a state that even those investors who have already have factories and industries in my country, there are those who have decided to relocate because they are not those who are intact. They are not even safe because they are being followed and taxed more. You see, it's becoming so pathetic, and that is why I'm indicating that our country is about to stink. It's about to sink. It's even drowning in poverty. It is. But we are still hopeful. We are very hopeful because a movement that is in has to apply means and ways on how we are to recapitulate ourselves. We are to redeem ourselves. I've indicated that no one is coming to do so to us. It's us. It's us to do so in order for us to reclaim back our glorious country, Kenya. And as a wind up, all what I would indicate to mostly the ritualistic, because I've indicated that witches are those, you can't know the moves of the witches, of the wizards. But for a ritualistic, it's well known because they tend to bluff or even to boast that they have power, they have everything. And this is why they are being identified. And about a few weeks ago, one of them was slain because he had a tendency of giving sacrifices from his own relatives. In fact, those who slain and consumed that guy are his own bloodline, his own relatives. They did it. All what I know is that the wages of sin is death, and one will always reap whatever one sows. I, for one, I don't count myself to be all that clean, or I don't call myself as a saint because I live under the mercy of our God. The same applies to you and I who is watching me. But one thing that I can forward to these evil and wicked people, because they've chosen to embrace the evil components. Yeah? The evil components have molded them. They have created them to be what they are. They are jealousy, they are envious, and they are selfish, they are corruptible, and bribery is their identity. Their days are numbered. And when I mean so, I've seen most of them being destroyed. And what do they gain? The good one tells us that it always informed us. What can one gain if you happen to possess or own the whole world and you lose your soul? Nothing. So anyone out there who happen to be in this category that I've mentioned, yeah, come out of it. Repent, and God will forgive you. Because, mind you, you are on the wrong lane. You are on that parallel of negativity. You better come out of it, embrace the positivity where there is the glorious kingdom of our God. And you live to proclaim the goodness of our God in the land of the living. Lest you curse, you defile your generation. God has spoken.